This month on The Spark, our theme is building momentum with technology and care. We'll learn more about an organization building the momentum for the nonprofit sector to create equitable, measurable, and lasting change. An area chamber dedicated to creating a vibrant business environment and helping our community grow. And a company meeting the technology needs of Memphis area businesses with a CARES initiative to give back. We'll also share a special moment from our Spark Awards 2020.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Additional funding for The Spark is provided by Meriton, United Way of the Mid-South, MyTown Movers, MyTown Roofing, MyTown Miracles, and by SERVES.
Ever been excited by a new idea? Inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way so we can learn and do the same. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're an organization building the momentum for the nonprofit sector. Here with the CEO of Momentum Nonprofit Partners, Kevin Dean. And let's start out. Give us a little bit of a history lesson for Momentum Nonprofit Partners.
Hey, yeah. So we're about a 27-year-old organization. We were built to be the nonprofit resource center for other nonprofits. So we're a nonprofit that serves other nonprofits, and that sounds counterintuitive. It sounds like but nonprofits often don't have the resources they need. They need a collective voice to really advocate for for the sector because we're often left out and not invited to the table by government and for-profits and corporations. So we're the ones who are making sure we're at the table and giving them the resources they need. Running a nonprofit is not easy. There's a lot of nuance, and so we're the folks in town who are helping to professionally develop nonprofit employees as well as advocating for them.
So it's advocacy, professional development. It's a lot of mentoring and coaching and guiding. Walk us through the program, so to speak.
Yeah. So, I think we're most known for our training. So we do comprehensive training for nonprofits. We have something called Nonprofit Academy. That's a 3-day sort of intensive where you learn about 67 best practices, ranging from legal compliance to fundraising best practices. It runs the gamut, just things that people need. We're providing grant writing, executive director boot camp is something that we do. And then we do some really intense multi-day trainings that go sometimes for months. And so in addition to that, we also do a lot of convenings. So we bring people together to talk about issues. Right now, the vaccine rollout is something that's really important to a lot of nonprofits, both for their own staff and for their clients. So we've gotten people together for that. We had a town hall with a representative from the state of Tennessee to talk about the vaccine distribution and what that was going to look like. And then we have the advocacy piece and the public policy piece that's been our biggest win over the past year, working statewide and locally, and part of a national network as well to really make sure that nonprofits have a seat at the table. And that's resulted in, we helped nonprofits in Memphis get about 36 million in PPP loans that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to access. And then nonprofits in general weren't invited to participate in the economic recovery group or the reopening process. And so we got about a couple of thousand nonprofits to speak up. And because of that, we got the nonprofit subcommittee for that economic recovery group. One of our recommendations was to give additional CARES Act money to nonprofits because there was inevitably going to be leftover money. And so we got $150 million to nonprofits last year in 2020 from CARES Act money. So $186 million is nothing to balk at. So that's a lot of money. But so that's what we do.
Talk about the pandemic and how you've been able to still keep the mission moving forward, keep the momentum going forward, and especially using virtual events.
Yeah. So a lot of our stuff happens in our office on Cooper. or it did before this, and we sort of saw this coming, and we pivoted about a week before everybody else did. We already had set up a Zoom account and really just moved everything virtually, and it has been a breeze. We kind of had to figure out how to really engage people on this kind of platform. It's a lot different than in person, but we've employed all sorts of different, we've gamified things. We have things where they can get on their phones and type things, and word clouds come on the screen. So all of our trainings have continued. One thing that we know, nonprofits are struggling right now with money. Everybody's struggling, and so most of our stuff has been free. For about 6 months there, everything was free for local nonprofits. We saved them about $150,000 in fees that we would have otherwise charged. The stuff that we're offering right now is heavily reduced price for nonprofits. So we're making sure that we're getting as many people in as possible, because right now it's, some organizations are shifting and moving around, and there's time for folks to learn and grow, and it's been great.
Nonprofits across the board are really struggling. So what advice would you give us to be intentional about getting involved with nonprofits in general, along with obviously Momentum Nonprofit Partners?
Well, I think we learned. I was involved in Hurricane Katrina recovery, and there were a lot of lessons learned there that I think we forgot 15 years later, and that is to have a plan in place to be adaptive to whatever might come your way. So having that plan in place beforehand, I've seen the organizations that had a plan in place for if something happens like this, that they can quickly shift and adjust. Those organizations are doing much better than the ones that didn't. And they were way behind. Those organizations were way behind in getting up and running. And so after all of this is over, I don't think we're going back to the same world we were in, but we're going back to some sort of normal at some point. We have to think about the next time something like this happens, so that's, and Momentum was certainly going to provide a lot of risk management trainings and all sorts of stuff, to resiliency trainings coming up, to make sure that our nonprofit organizations are equipped for whatever craziness comes next. As far as getting involved with Momentum, you can go to our website, check momentumnonprofitpartners.org. And we have a calendar of events. We have a consultant directory if you're looking for a nonprofit consultant. We have a job board if you're looking for a job. So there's a lot to check out there. We also have a lot of advocacy and research information. We do a lot of sector-wide research that's really helpful for corporations and foundations to review.
So you've already mentioned the website, so you make that part easy, but congratulations on your recent doctorate. So Dr. Dean, but thank you for all you and your team do. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
They're an area chamber helping businesses and our community grow. We're here with Janie Day. She is the president and CEO of the Germantown Area Chamber of Commerce. And let's start, Janie. Give us a little bit of a history lesson for the Germantown Area Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, thanks for having me, Jeremy. This is a great opportunity. The chamber started in 1973, so we're almost 50 years old. We had a 40th anniversary in 2013, so in a couple of years we'll have a 50th party. And in that 50 years, normal things happened. We got computers and so forth. But the last year has really changed our mission. And we've always been about partnerships and community and growth, but we got a little bit more on the community and the partnership in 2020. So in the past, we have had events, golf tournaments, Taste of the Town, things like that, to where it's provided money for the chamber. Because even though we're a nonprofit, I still have to pay the 4 people who work here. So fortunately, we had started in 2019 with a Germantown magazine that is a partnership of the city and the chamber. And we get income from that by selling the ads and so forth. So our requirement for income was really helpful because we didn't need to have these events. We still want to have them, but we needed to find out what can we do to help these restaurants and retailers and every business, small business out there that is really getting ready this time last year to have some problems. So we came up with doing some videos. And first we had a video production company professionally to do about 47 videos of the owners of the restaurants. They would say, we're doing pickup, we're doing takeout, whatever they were doing. And we would highlight that on our all of our social media, Instagram, social media, and it really was getting all out there. It was spreading, people were sharing it. So it wasn't just going to chamber members, but it was going to downtown people, to all around. And we just have continued that. So that was the one thing. We couldn't have ribbon cuttings. We couldn't have any of our normal activities. But once we started highlighting them, it really helped the businesses from retailers. And now we do about 3 or 4 a day. And that has continued on. So we will not stop that. Even though we will begin to have our events again, we're not going to stop the highlighting of all of our chamber members at all.
Give us the mission and the purpose, because everything you're alluding to, it's helping the businesses, it's helping the community, it's spotlighting the nonprofits. But you mentioned before, you're able to pull in businesses in terms of the support from the area. So it's not just necessarily Germantown. So talk about the mission and the purpose.
Yes, we have chamber members from downtown to Bartlett through to Collierville and so forth. And really our mission is for 2 reasons. We want to get more chamber members, not for us, but for each other, to do business with each other. That's the mission statement now, is to enhance everybody doing business with each other, because one company helps another company. And so we have sponsors, and that has been a big help because, for example, Taste of the Town, asking the restaurants who have been through COVID and all the trials and tribulations that went along with that, to ask them to donate food and drink and so forth for an event. We have sponsors who are going to sponsor them to do that. So the whole mission of Taste of the Town, again, was to highlight the chamber and so forth. Now it's to highlight with sponsorships. I'm not going to take anything from you. I'm actually going to sponsor you and pay you the money to actually come to this event and share that with the 250 people that attend. So it's really going to be totally different. And that mission has just tweaked itself a little bit to where it's all about the chamber members and doing business with each other. And our ambassadors help us with that too.
Give us some ways that we can help. I know you have a golf scramble. What are some other ways that we can help? Obviously becoming a member, but what are the ways we can help?
We have, couldn't have it last year, but we have a golf classic, and it's at Windike. And we always need volunteers to come help. It's going to be June the 10th at Windike. It won't be too hot, I don't think. So we try to have it in June rather than August. And we could always use volunteers. And again, this is business that actually does happen on the golf course. So now it's fun. You don't even have to be a member to play. We'd love to have players. We have sponsors that are taking care of everything. So it's a lunch and then we play golf. It's like from 11 to probably 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And then there's a celebration in the after that. So it's just a mix of men and women. We have a lot of golf women. It is at Windike, and we could use some volunteers if anybody's interested. And it is June the 10th at Windike, and just give the chamber a call, 755-1200, and we'd love to have somebody get involved.
We'll wrap up with, you mentioned the phone number, obviously, but where do we go? Website, where else do we go to learn more about Germantown Area Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, sure. Okay, it's germantownchamber.com, and you can join the chamber on there. We'd love to have new members and volunteers at any time.
Well, Janie Day, greatly appreciate you and your team and all you do for our area, not just Germantown. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
Sure. Thank you very much.
The Spark Awards annually recognize and celebrate individuals and organizations that have made outstanding contributions to the community. The 2020 recipient of the Individual Collegiate Award is Nuanchu Hao of Rhodes College.
I'm a senior neuroscience major at Rhodes on the pre-medicine track. I think for me, being able to be there for other people is very special. I see medicine as a combination of social justice and science, and that's where my passion lies. So I try to be active in volunteering around this community. I really appreciate the opportunity to work with hospice. I consider it a privilege to be able to accompany patients through their last journey in this life and to form the relationship not only with the patient but also with their families. I consider that to be a privilege, and I really appreciate that. And I also really enjoy volunteering with the crisis center, being able to talk to people, kind of filling the gaps in between services for people makes me feel really good. My grandma passed away when I was 7 from cancer, and she was such an inspiration for me. She took care of me when I was little. She went through so much in her life, but always with grace and resilience. So I promised her to be someone useful for the society before she passed away. And that's kind of my motivation through everything. But also just, you get a lot when you volunteer, like for yourself also. It's been hard. I haven't been home in 3 years. I only saw my mom once a year. I haven't seen my dad since the start of college. But I have friends here. Some of my friends took me in. I went to Thanksgiving with them. You know, I know their dogs. I know their grandparents. So I have a family here in Memphis as well. Actually just got into med school, so that's exciting. I eventually hope to combine emergency medicine and psychiatry. That's kind of the dream. I haven't really figured out how to do it yet, but I've always wanted to be a doctor that not only be there for, people's illness, but also be there for their holistic care. I'm really interested in serving with Doctors Without Borders. And I'm also, the eventual goal will be to have a clinic of my own, but provide absolutely free service and provide social, physical, legal, mental services for free.
They're helping Memphis area businesses with their technology needs, and they have a CARES initiative to give back. We're here with the president and CEO of ProTech Services Group, Dan Weddle. And Dan, let's start. Give us a little bit of a history lesson for ProTech Services Group.
All right, Jeremy. So ProTech strives to help companies with their technology by improving their profitability and growth and security. And we've been around for almost 30 years. Since 1992, we've created a combination of services and solutions to help our customers achieve their technology goals and initiatives. And over the years, we have strived real hard to become a technology partner, not just a vendor. We think that's very important, that we're a partner, not just seen as a vendor to provide things.
Go ahead and dive into your world. It's managed services on the IT side, but it's cybersecurity. It's a lot. So walk us through your different offerings.
It is a lot. We, don't strive to offer everything there is from a technology perspective, but we do an awful lot of different services. Thus, the name of the company, ProTech Services Group. We're a group of services. So we start with our talent acquisition and our staffing division. And here we provide highly skilled personnel on both contract and permanent basis for companies in HR, IT, any corporate support related type role. And that's where we really started the business back in 1992. We've continued that business, but we've evolved now into IT services over the last 15, 20 plus years. Then we move into our hardware resale division, where we're one of the largest companies in the Memphis area that resells technology equipment such as Cisco, Check Point, Microsoft, big names like that. And then our managed services division. This is where we help our clients from hardware, cloud, moving things out of data centers to the cloud. And we set up monthly recurring models where we provide services to these customers in an IT support environment, where we provide the same systems that they might normally have employees for and support on a monthly basis for all sorts of companies from small to large. And we do things like internet security, network, all sorts of different managed type programs. We also do telecommunication services, which includes maintaining local and national bandwidth requirements for phone services. A lot of it is with the move to the cloud. Obviously, in order to utilize cloud technology, you've got to have a very good telecommunications internet backbone in order to do that. Our security division is one of our most well-known groups. It's one of the most important things nowadays with so much technology and companies is the security of that. With so many of us working remotely, it's absolutely critical to secure our clients. We offer everything from endpoint security to managed firewalls, phishing attacks, and we also do pen testing, which is where we can make sure that someone can't get into your network, and we test to see if how vulnerable you are, and then work to close up those vulnerabilities. And then our last division I would really like to highlight is our support desk. This is a full service offering where we are providing support to our clients and users. And it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for level 1, level 2, and level 3 endpoint infrastructure and application support. So where a company normally would have a help desk staffed and have the turnover, we're able to provide those services to a customer. Plus, we can build upon the best practices from multiple different companies and take those initiatives across our employees and provide a better service from that perspective.
So talk about this CARES initiative, Protect Cares.
You know, it's part of our company. It's really ingrained in the company. We believe that being the city's largest technology provider in Memphis, that we need to give back to the community. And it's been something that we've been for 20 plus years involved in, giving back. We believe in being a good corporate citizen. So we put together our own Protect Cares, which is an internal organization within Protect that helps nonprofit organizations, helps schools. It helps all sorts of different organizations, such as the Boys and Girls Clubs, Streets Ministries, different things like that. And we do all sorts of things for organizations that our employees bring up that they say they want to support, as well as some companies that we've just been involved in for many, many years, whether we might have done their technology like we did with the Boys and Girls Clubs, or like we've done with Streets Ministries, where we've given back, provided wireless systems, phone systems, and do some of their support for free or at a very reduced fee. But we also get behind client initiatives. If a client comes to us and says, we're supporting a particular nonprofit organization. And that's why us joining City Current is such a perfect part of, our culture, is that we give back. And, and City Current's such all about the mission of giving back and making the community better. And so it was just a perfect marriage between the two of us to get involved. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is last year I put in place a new policy for every employee. In addition to the things that we do as a company, whether it would be get behind a walk like the Susan B. Komen, or we get behind a race involving St. Jude, or other types of things, our employees can have 2 days per policy of time off to, if they want to volunteer at their church, or if they want to volunteer anywhere, all they have to do is just submit that to their supervisor, and they can have 2 days off per year to do something for the community. And that's in addition to the things that we already do, which we don't charge any kind of time off or anything for.
We'll wrap up with contact information. Where do we go to learn more about Protect Services Group?
All right. You can call us at 901-257-3310. But probably the best place to start would be at www.psgi.net. And that stands for Protect Services Group Inc.net.
Hey, well, Dan, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
We're excited to be part of City Current. Thank you so much.
Hard to believe, but this is episode 100 of The Spark. We're into our 9th year, and we're still working just as hard as day one to power the good and to continue building momentum, because it takes continued focus and effort to keep moving forward. As we saw in this episode, we're fortunate to have individuals and organizations that pour into our community each and every day so that we continue to build momentum to benefit our community. Organizations like Momentum Nonprofit Partners and the Germantown Area Chamber of Commerce are using technology and care to foster collaboration, share valuable information, and connect people to needed resources. Companies like Protect Services Group are both providing their services to help meet the technology needs of local businesses, but also leveraging their expertise to help nonprofits through their Protect Cares initiative, which has benefited Streets Ministries, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Memphis, the National Civil Rights Museum, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and so many more. One of the best ways to start building momentum to benefit our community is to care. So thank you for caring, for your support over these many years, and for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests, to watch past episodes, and to share your stories of others leading by example, visit WKNO.org and click on the link for The Spark. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll continue joining with us to create a spark for the Mid-South.
Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.